For years, we've watched the Man Without Fear dance around the edge of total exposure, but Season 2 finale of Born Again finally stopped the music. Matt didn't just win a court case, he committed professional and social suicide to dismantle Wilson Fisk's Safer Streets empire. We've spent a decade asking if the MCU would ever let Daredevil be as dark and uncompromising as his Netflix roots. And after that closing shot of Matt sitting in a cell while Fisk jets off to exile, I think we finally have our answer. It's messy, it's political, and it's the most revitalized I have been for an MCU show in a long time. And this is the part of the MCU I like. It's the street level stuff, and that's why I'm kind of excited for the new Spider-Man movie. And Benson and Moorhead, they do that palette fantastically. It's got the deep crimson, street lamp amber, and clinical hospital blues to it. It feels heavy and claustrophobic. In street level, I mean, punches look like they actually break teeth, and the moral dilemmas aren't solved with a quip and a CGI beam of light into the sky. And it does start with sort of this fake utopia with the propaganda, but then it's got this very real underground current to it where we open on the Northern Star. It's a cargo ship that acts as like a physical manifestation of Fisk's corruption. And we finally end at the end of the season with the total collapse of the Anti-Vigilante Task Force. I mean, we have like a narrative arc that's split between like legal theater and a literal war zone. On one side, we have like the Mayor Kingpin era reaching its toxic zenith, using the AVTF to hunt heroes under the guise of public safety, heavily mirroring some very sharp and very uncomfortable real-world political commentary. Then on the other, we have Matt trying to navigate a world where Foggy is gone, Bullseye is a loose cannon with a death wish, and a new generation of heroes like White Tiger are getting caught in the crossfire. It's a season about legacy. Fisk's trying to build one through blood and policy, and Matt trying to preserve his by finally admitting that he is behind the mask to everybody. I mean, we go from the docks of Red Hook to the steps of City Hall and to a courtroom confession that changes the landscape of this series going forward. I mean, the first season was a mess. I mean, we were going to get like a Law and Order version of Daredevil without Karen and Foggy. I mean, if you think about it, the 2023 strike was actually the best thing to happen to that first season. It allowed for like a great reset to make it an actual follow-up to the Netflix series. And we're about to get a recast of Vanessa, which didn't happen, which is a win for continuity and making Vanessa's death in episode 5 actually carry weight. I mean, we care because this is the version of the character we've been with for a decade. What I liked about the season was Bullseye. I love this version of Bullseye. Wilson Bethel's return as Bullseye and some of the dedicated scenes he gets are probably like the highlight of this season for me. And him on the flight with Mr. Charles, I'm hoping that we get some Bullseye in the MCU movies, or maybe like an actual Thunderbolts show where they're actually villains and not like just the new Avengers. That would be pretty sweet. But I have to be honest, like the season still had some pacing issues. And then, like I said, episode 5, Vanessa dies. Well, she gets critically injured in one episode, and then following, we get like this weird kind of slowdown, which it's typical for shows to have like a big high and then a come down episode. But it's like we have like this death dream sequence with Vanessa. I don't think it really landed that well. I think it kind of just slowed the momentum of the entire season because it was just like a kind of a lull for all the storylines that following episode. It didn't really capture the energy that from the last episode. And I was kind of disappointed. I mean, I was wanting Vanessa to die. I didn't give her a whole lot to do this season, but I was wanting her to die because I just wanted Kingpin to kind of go berserk over it, but he kind of goes into this depression mode and doesn't do a whole lot. I think that was kind of a missed opportunity. I mean, we gotta talk about the political mirror. I mean, there was a lot of similarities in that first season, but funnily enough, they weren't purposeful. That stuff happened they filmed it before all this stuff happened with Trump and ICE. In this season, they seem to be really leaning into it, which is fine. comics have always had sort of reflections of current society, and they really leaned into it. They had the AVTF and the Fisk Saver Streets feels like a direct commentary on ICE and the modern populist rhetoric here. I have to say, Fisk and the AVTF, they make me want to hate them. They do a great job making me hate them. Fisk acts like this big guy, and he's just like a fragile little child. I love how they did that with the Netflix series and this series. It's like all these populist guys are pretty weak deep inside. And man, the lead AVTF guy, Powell, he's just probably has one of the most punchable faces in all the MCU. I absolutely hate that guy, but the actor is killing it as that guy. And this season really leaned into just Matt, the lawyer, disappearing for most of the season and just being Daredevil, and like Matt's in the shadows hiding out. And then when he comes in to the courtroom as Matt Murdock, I mean, I think that is the height of the season. Like those last few episodes where it kind of just turns into a courtroom drama in that one penultimate episode, and it totally works. I was kind of wanting more courtroom stuff too. I think kind of holding back on it and just having that lead to the finale was a great choice. And I mean, having Daredevil in that black costume most of the season, just awesome. And having the 2Ds on his chest finally. But then in episode 8, it felt like the character's soul finally returned when he entered that courtroom, all dramatic like. And then we have the Tony Stark moment where he reveals that he is Daredevil. And I think it was just done so well. He had to do it to save his girlfriend that he loves, and then put away Wilson Fisk for him to no longer be mayor. I think it makes total sense and a good way to end this season. Then we had the courthouse lockdown, which I loved. You get to see Kingpin go ham on a bunch of Daredevil protesters, I guess. And then you have Daredevil and Jessica Jones fighting off the ATVF or the AVTF. And it's just like the bloody action that you're wanting. And then they have a consensus. It's not just Daredevil fighting Kingpin. It's goes back to the flashbacks with Foggy talking about mercy, giving the city mercy so they can both leave New York. You have the villain that ends up in a tropical paradise alone, in no power, which might be his own personal hell. And then you have the hero who is behind bars and probably doing the Devil and Cell Block D comic run next season, which I'm looking forward to. We get a nice cameo from Luke Cage finally, and then you have Heather Glenn, who is basically turning to Lady Muse, which, they telegraphed that all season. I knew it was going to happen, but yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, feels like a dark earned twist for season 3. But looking ahead of season 3, I mean, just like I said, I think we're getting the Devil and Cell Block D arc. I mean, they have leaks that show Matt in an orange jumpsuit. I'm glad I didn't see that before I saw this finale. But yeah, I mean, we're going to get a claustrophobic survival horror within the walls of the Supermax because he's stuck in there with all the AVTF guys, especially the one with the punchable face. A lot more hallway fights, I think, are in our future. But with Fisk in exile and Matt behind bars, Hell's Kitchen is officially a free-for-all. Are we going to have Luke Cage running for mayor? I don't think so. But, I mean, it looks like we're getting Iron Fist, too. So we're looking at a street-level Avengers situation with the Defenders and kind of having to govern the very streets that they used to patrol. I'm looking forward to an actual good Defender season now. And, we have Spider-Man Brand New Day coming out. I don't think Daredevil's going to show up in it. I know it shows the Hand, and he's fighting the Hand in New York, and he's in a prison fighting the Hand in New York. It would be nice if they got on the same page with a lot of this stuff. I think it would help with like Daredevil ratings too, because I heard this dropped like 50% in viewership, even though we're still getting a season 3. That's just kind of sucks, honestly. I thought this was a pretty good season. And then we're going to have the Punisher one-shot, One Last Kill, I think, or something like that. And, I mean, Punisher isn't in that Spider-Man movie. And apparently this takes place shortly before this season and during this season. So this is well, I guess we'll see the reason why Punisher wasn't taking out these AVTF guys. But Daredevil Season 2 is a fascinating, if occasionally frustrated piece of television. It's a show that had to die and be reborn in the middle of production, and you can see the scars of that transition still. It stumbles when it leans too hard into the melodrama of Fisk and Vanessa dynamic, and the pacing in the mid-season dream sequence stuff felt like a step back into the last season sort of bloat to it. But when it hits harder than a billy club to the temple. It's a brave season that prioritizes consequences over clean endings. Matt Murdock didn't save the day, he broke the world to save the soul of the city. So I'm giving Daredevil Born Again Season 2 a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's essential viewing for the fallout alone, even if the journey there gets a little stuck in the mud. Check out one of these videos by my head now, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.